You have insurance on your condo or townhome, so you think everything is okay. You're not reviewing it on a regular basis, but you may be massively uninsured. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm Ellen Mitchell, your heels on the ground in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area. And on this channel, we talk about everything real estate. Probate, guardianship, senior relocation, and today we are talking about insurance with my favorite insurance agent, Talone, with Allstar
Insurance Services.
Insurance Services. I always forget the services. With Allstar Insurance Services. Thank you so much for being here today, Aaron.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Aaron and I have been in a BNI, which is a business networking group, together for the last 6 years. And just being in a business networking group is great, but you don't necessarily change all your business because you're in a professional group together, but you do change your business over time when you're working with someone that you know, like, and trust. And over time, I have moved all of my insurance policies, including my auto, over to Aaron because I know, like, and trust him, and he knows what he's talking about.
Thank you, Ellen. It means the world to us.
So in this video, we're going to talk about insurance as it relates to condos. And I'm going to share a horror story, and you can share how you would be able to prevent that. So unfortunately, when my mother purchased her townhome, which was up in Illinois, she got an insurance policy, and every year she got her renewal. She renewed it faithfully, and about 20 years later, she had an electrical fire.
Oh no.
Yes. Oh no, she had an electrical fire and everything was destroyed, including our yearbooks and baby pictures. But also, oh no, because although it paid out at the top of her policy, her full policy amount, she was so uninsured that it cost her tens of thousands of dollars out of her pocket because she had never increased her policy limit. So that's what we want to help people avoid, whether they're in single family homes and condos. But there's a difference. And what is the difference when you're looking to insure a condo versus a single family home?
That's a great question. So with a home, you can kind of visualize this. You have your roof, walls, windows, doors, what have you. You're an independent structure. So that's what all goes into what we would call a replacement cost estimate. Now, if your mother had over time this done correctly, it would stay with the value of what it would be to rebuild that. With a condo unit, you're typically, per statute or by the condo association's bylaws, you're really only responsible for the interiors. So you could refer to things as quote unquote walls in coverage. Basically not the common elements of the association, it's your elements, your personal property, which would be your paint to the drywall, kitchens, bath, flooring, anything permanently attached to the interiors, and then all your contents.
So I'm going to ask the question I know the answer to, but how do you help your clients to not be in that same situation that my mother was in? I've had my policies with you for several years now, so what if something happened at one of my properties? Would I be adequately insured today, even though I may have taken a policy out and renewed it for the last 10 years?
So the first step in writing any type of property insurance should be a look at the value of reconstruction. So again, we do not insure the land, right? We don't insure those types of things. We insure your improvements that can be rebuilt. And the cost of reconstruction can really, vary widely. Economically, the cost of parts, labor, and materials, right? So a replacement cost estimate is a detailed calculation, including the square footage, the year of construction, the types of materials, the fit and finish of the home. Those things all should be kept up with. And you should also have an insurance company and an agent that looks at that regularly. You could do it every year, probably not that important, but every few years, all limits should be looked at to make sure they keep up with things. It comes to mind life changes, even not just the structure, but of your contents. If you're starting a family and you have children and what have you, you're going to be buying more things, specific things, certain life events. You might be buying jewelry for your spouse, right? Marking major milestones. So that's something that has to really be kind of go along with the policy to make it correct over the long term.
So if I have an insurance policy and I've had my policy for several years and I just keep renewing and I never really hear from my agent, I just get the premium renewal in the mail, what should I do? How do I know that I have adequate insurance?
That's a good question. Typically, the insurance company will have an inflation guard on a condo policy. It can happen with homes as well. Depends on the company, depends on the state, it depends on the product that you're selling. But if it's not specifically on the declarations page, it will be somewhere in there. So the cost of the insurance or the limit of coverage on the policy should keep up with that. So you might track at 3% or 4% per year. If you don't have a mortgage, as you mentioned before, on that property, or any other additional insured telling you that you have to carry certain coverages, you might want to take the inflation guard off, but you have to be very wary of the fact that if you do that and years go by, you would be underinsured, as you mentioned.
What I was trying to get you to say was that when you have Aaron Talone as your insurance agent, he's never going to let that happen because he's going to follow up with you,
Sure.
which you always do. I think it's just so much a part of your practice and what you do that you don't even think about it, because for you, it's just automatic that you're in touch with your clients and reviewing their policies on a regular basis, which I wish that my mother had had an agent such as yourself. So people, when they're having insurance on a condo, let's say that the condo, they're on the first floor and the condo on the second floor, their hot water heater fails and all of a sudden they have a huge flood into their first floor unit. Who's responsible? The insurance company for the unit that flooded or the insurance company for the unit that caused the flood? And what if they don't have insurance?
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. It's all too common. I think a lot of the tort reform that took place was actually directed at those types of losses. Usually any type of property loss should be filed with the insurance company insuring the unit that had the loss.
So in this case, it would be the person on the first floor. The person on the second floor, their hot water heater failed, flooded my unit on the first floor, and I should file the claim with my insurance company.
It's unfortunate because you
It's
file.
very unfair, Aaron.
Yeah, you take a claim, right? And that's a long process, and you have a deductible and things. So it's unfortunate, but typically without negligence against the homeowner upstairs, you wouldn't have a valid claim. And that insurance company, you would be going after their liability limit, not after their property coverage. So it'd be important if you have insurance on your own unit to file that with your insurance company, unless it was obvious or there was a rumor or a conversation with the building management that it became apparent that the person upstairs was liable. Liable would stem by Florida law by negligence. So sometimes that would happen if you used unlicensed contractors or unpermitted work was done and it was shoddy. Let's say someone left the unit vacant for a long period of time. There was no property manager. You could probably be successful in a negligence claim because their property was not being maintained, and that's what led to your loss downstairs.
That's a really good point. We do have, as you know, a lot of snowbirds here. For those of you that aren't familiar with the term, it's somebody that lives up north during the good weather and they come down during the winter. So property could be vacant for months or even years if they don't come down. And if they don't have someone checking on the unit, all kinds of different things can happen, such as what you described. And I've had people have the misconception they're buying a condo, they're getting a loan, and they think since there is insurance as part of their monthly maintenance, that they don't have to have insurance on the condo. So I know the answer to this, but if you could answer for the people watching, if you're buying a condominium and you're getting a loan, do you need to insure the condo, or is the condo that the homeowners association or condo association sufficient?
It wouldn't be sufficient in the sense that the Florida statute declares that the association insures the common elements, which think about the structure of the building, right? Typically including exterior walls and exterior windows and doors. Everything inside is your responsibility. So if you have these high maintenance fees, unfortunately, that really is for your portion of the insurance for the building, and you're still not insured in the interiors without picking up a condo unit owner policy. We would call it HO6 policy. That pays for, there's basically four large coverage parts. There's your interiors, also called improvements and betterments. That is, as I mentioned, your kitchens, baths, anything that's permanently attached, kitchens, bath, flooring, and what have you. You have personal property, which is not personally attached, right? Your furniture, clothing, electronics, things of that personal nature. And then you have loss of use. So if you had a bad water loss or a fire and you needed to move out while the property is being rebuilt in the interior, you would need to have the alternative residence, whether rent or hotel or something, covered by the insurance company. So it's a really important thing.
And we'll talk about that in our next video, because we had a very personal example of that on our home in Weston. Finally, I wanted to ask you, the cost of monthly maintenance has gone up so much in our condos. It's a big reason that a lot of people are selling. And the biggest driver of that cost is insurance and the 40 and 50-year certifications. So speaking to the insurance, why has the insurance gone up so much? And is there anything that the condo associations can do to get those prices down so that the properties become more affordable?
Wow, that's an excellent question. Insurance costs in Florida just started, basically in 2025, starting to trend to reducing. And that's mostly in property, auto, personal lines coverages. Commercial insurance is a little different. But the driving costs of what caused things to really go up the last 5-6 years, at a very basic level, the cost of construction and inflation has put the cost of materials, labor, and so forth going through the roof, really. A lot more demand in Florida causes that. So you just have all of these premiums and what have you, they're all predicated off the cost of the input of what we're selling, which is to rebuild your home in the event of a disaster. So the cost of things went up. They're also financially, interest rates have gone up. So reinsurance costs have gone up on the insurers. So every insurer that you buy a policy from, they typically do not pay 100% of the loss. They securitize that with different reinsurers, just like a bank would maybe sell a loan and then collateralize that by selling that off to the general market. So financial costs have gone up, reconstruction costs have gone up. And then the last thing, it's an unfortunate topic, it gets thrown around like a football, is fraud. We've had kind of broad policy and lots of claims, and claims, they never get better with time. So the more a claim stays open and the longer it goes, it just gets more costly, not in the fact that the property is just sitting there unimproved, but it also has legal costs or different folks getting involved. So we like to get claims taken care of quickly and the least possible to repair that.
Thank you so much, Aaron. We've covered a lot, and we're going to cover even more in our next video talking about single-family homes and coverage. And if you like this video, we really hope that you'll like and subscribe to the page. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for future episodes, please let us know. We will put Aaron's information, Aaron Talone at Allstars Insurance Services, so that you guys can connect with him as well. And thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. It's a good topic.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome talking with you.